Welcome back to the mighty PHI Games in History, and today we'll be talking about the Hindenburg disaster. So, as anyone knows, this is probably a famous picture. No, it is not a Led Zeppelin album cover. That it's actually called the Hindenburg, if no one knows what that is. So today we're going to give you the failed history of Zeppelins. Well, first it all starts with, if I can find the picture, this dude. This dude, his name is Graf Zeppelin. That's it. And, Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin. Whoops, I mixed up him with the airship. Okay, so you have Count Zeppelin, and so he was sent over from Germany to go see how the American Civil War was going. He was stationed in St. Paul, Minnesota, where he met people who flew hot air balloons over enemy lines to kind of see what the heck was going on over there. And so he was impressed. So he dreamed that maybe that they could build a hot air balloon that could transport people. And so that's kind of what he did. So he went and he went back over to Germany, and he kind of proposed that he should. So he went over to Germany and says, "Hey, let's try this. Let's do this." Somehow the government said yes. He went and he created this, the LS1. No, the LZ-1, and yeah. That's basically what the difference between a Zeppelin and a blimp, because they look exactly like the same thing, is a Zeppelin has an iron skeleton inside. A blimp is just, one second, let me go. Sorry, I sneezed. So, and a blimp is just basically air inside. So, he made the LZ1. Then he went and made the LZ2. Let me see if I can find a picture. I know I put one down. Oh, wow, is that it? I think this is it, because there's lots of. So he went and made this. This was the LZ. No, I don't. Let's just say this is it. He made the LZ2. This was 420 feet long, and this time he added it in the passenger cabin and things. Somehow after making these giant monstrosities, the government was still not impressed with it. And then, not really to help, the LZ2 had to make an emergency landing after it ran out of gas, only to have a storm come through and tear it to pieces. Wow. But then, Count Zeppelin came and built another monstrosity called the LZ3. This is the LZ3. This one made 7 successful flights. One even lasted 8 hours. Back then, that was like a big feat. And for some overly weird reason, now the government decided to buy it. Well, for the test flight. And then he made a better ship called the 4. I'm assuming, was that the 4? Oh, yeah. So now this is the 4. And as you tell the picture, it actually went, and it had a couple motor problems, so went back down, tied it up, only have a thunderstorm come through, and then it tore it loose, fell into a tree, exploded into flames, and yeah. So now, Zeppelin's one guy. Zeppelin, he's pretty heartbroken. He kind of put his whole allowance into this kind of thing, and now he failed. only to, well, then, just by luck, the German government came back to him and said, we like it. Mostly because everybody saw these giant footballs flying through the sky all over Germany, and they loved them, surprisingly. And, well, then in 1909, he decided to, well, after joining this guy named Hugo Eckner, he started a company called Delag. It's just D-E-L lag. Delag. I was called Delag. And, well, it actually went pretty good. It was the first commercial, air travel in the whole world. And, well, Zeppelin, he planned to create, an army of airships. And, 9 days of the first trip, the first Zeppelin took some tourist sightseeing, and all of a sudden, luck again, a sudden storm came. The ship shot high up in the air and sank into a forest where it got stuck in treetops. Fortunately, no one was hurt. And, well, then by this point, the company had ships traveling to all major cities. Well, then in 1913, something happened. Around 1914, World War I broke out. So the German government, because at this point, the only airplanes that were kind of around were just little biplanes flying around, well, they decided to use them as giant bombers. So they'll fly over, attack London, France, whatever. And, well, because they had, huge. And because it's practically a giant balloon, you think it'll just pop. No. The bullets from these planes just went right through them. And just by luck, you may hit a guy inside. So they weren't that effective. Well, the planes were that effective, but the Zeppelins were. Until one day, a mad scientist over in the Allied side created a bullet that explodes, and found out if you use those against Zeppelins, the Zeppelins go down. So then the German government kind of realized Zeppelins weren't good for combat anymore. So, sadly, Count over here, he died in 1917. 2 years later, Germany surrendered and had to give all of its Zeppelins away. And the Zeppelin company couldn't make any more Zeppelins. How sad. Well, now technically this guy was in charge. Hugo was now in charge. And so to keep the Zeppelin company surviving, he went and the Zeppelin company switched from making giant balloons to making pots and pans. Well then, he realized that, people were sad because there's no Zeppelins flying everywhere. He decided to go to the one Allied country that did not get a Zeppelin, and has been failing to make Zeppelins. His country was called the United States of America. And I think this is the actual, was that graph? No. I think this is the actual picture. What's that one? Oh no, it's a different one. And he made them this. This is the USS Los Angeles. And now you found out if you build Zeppelins for other countries, it looks good. And the American government just jumped on the chance. Well, basically jumped on the chance to get a Zeppelin. And flew across the Atlantic in 4 days, which was big at the time. So now, by the 1920s, it was the golden age of Zeppelins. By this point, countries are trying all over the world to build Zeppelins. Like Britain, I think it was Britain made this one. It was Sweden, something like that. Made Italy. It's one of those 3 flags down there. Went and built a Zeppelin called the Norge. The Norge flew all the way up to North America, the Arctic, and dropped 3 flags, and those are the 3 flags right there. Dropped those 3 flags and was kind of the first thing to reach the Arctic. So yay! So and so there's also other Zeppelins. Well, Americans finally got into it and finally made a successful Zeppelin. This one was called the Shenandoah, which crashed like Zeppelins kind of do best. Other than flying, it went and it crashed. And try and guess what happened this time. Well, it ran into a thunderstorm, broke into pieces. It was filled with helium, but it did not burst into flames because helium is not flammable. But, well, everyone on it in it was killed. Well, it kind of broke in two. And the main half, everyone was killed, but the back, the back end was full of engineers. They just slowly released the gas. Fell very slow to the ground like a feather. And they all survived. Meantime, back in Germany, the Zeppelin company was now allowed to build Zeppelins again. And this time they teamed up with the partnership called Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. In 1926, both Goodyear and Zeppelin started making the most successful airship of all time, and they called it the Graf Zeppelin. It was named after the company's founder, and Graf means German. Well, Graf means count in German. And the Zeppelin flew more than 1 million miles, carried over 34,000 passengers, and no one was killed or hurt. The company planned the Graf Zeppelin to be the first airship to carry customers across the ocean, because at the time the only way to get across the Atlantic was practically taking a boat and doing nothing for a week. And it was barely, at the time, it was almost impossible for a plane to get across the ocean too. So yeah, and it wasn't until 1929 that Charles Lindbergh flew across the Atlantic. And well, the company, being a show off, I guess, went and flew the Zeppelin around the world. And yeah. And then the Graf Zeppelin made other flights, research flight over the North Pole. Then in 1931, it went to Germany, to Brazil. And yeah. The Zeppelin company wanted to build another special Zeppelin. This time it was to honor a guy named Hindenburg, who was a guy named Paul Hindenburg, and they wanted this to be the largest object that ever flown, and so they went, and they made, if I can find a picture, what's the picture? Go me. Oh yeah, this. I say U.S. Navy on it. Gosh dang, I thought that was a picture of the Hindenburg. I even typed a picture of Hindenburg. And, okay, so let's just say this is the Hindenburg. Right now. I said, I quickly got a picture of the Hindenburg. So they made this. This is the Hindenburg. It's a little plane compared to that. So basically they made a giant football. And so this was almost the length of 3 football fields. It was over 804 feet long. It was named after Paul Hindenburg, which is he's actually a big general during World War One. And then in 1933, the Graf Zeppelin Company flew the Graf Zeppelin to the Chicago World's Fair, and this time it was the first time any Zeppelin was required to have that on the back, the swastika, because by 1933, the Nazi Party has kind of taken over the German government, but the guy flying, his name was Eckener, and he was actually a kind of famous dude. Wait, no, I'm thinking of someone else. Oh, whoops, sorry. No, I'm thinking of someone else. But they flew at the right angle so no one could see it, kind of thing. But, so, so back over to the Hindenburg. Well, the Zeppelin company wanted the Hindenburg to use helium, but since the Nazis rose to power, the United States did not trust Germany at all, so they kind of stopped supplying them with helium. And so now they need to use hydrogen, which is highly flammable. And so, in 1936, the Hindenburg was finally finished, and Hitler decided to use both for his own purposes, which kind of means promoting Germany. And he wanted the German people to see the two largest movable objects in the world. Well, technically the Titanic, but that was too busy being at the bottom of the ocean. So he kind of had the two second and third biggest objects in the world, and he used it to mind the German people how strong they were. And the Hindenburg spent well so then the Hindenburg would oh my gosh, sorry, I'm just losing my train of thought. So Hitler used the Hindenburg to promote the Nazi Party, and then after about 4 days of flying around Germany aimlessly, he finally sent it to Brazil rather than the United States as a trial run before the important stop in New York. Well, sadly, the Hindenburg, other than the fact of it flying around Germany aimlessly, Germany's not that big, and there's no really time to test the engines, and one broke, and the other two failed, and yeah. And then, so on May 6, 1937, the Hindenburg left for its first passenger flight between Europe and the U.S. The ticket was only $400 at the time. That was a lot of money, and yeah. So the Hindenburg itself only had 25 cabins, which people were like, geez, that's nothing. But at the time, it was huge, and two people could sleep per cabin. And there's there's different rooms. Like they have rooms with the Grand Piano, rooms that had maps painted on the wall with famous explorers. They had china and silver for like plates and stuff. And just listen to this. They had over 440 pounds of fresh meat, 220 pounds of butter, and 800 eggs on the flight. And there's even a smoking room for being a big hydrogen, for the ship being, uh, well, being filled with hydrogen, but it was protected by an airlock for nothing could spark. So, yeah. So it did, actually, the Empire State Building, because this is like the golden age of stuff, actually, the it has that weird spire that was actually for to hook Zeppelins on, but it never really worked. Yeah. So next, on May 1935, about 1 year later, it was the first flight of the second season, because you can't really fly balloons in winter; they just freeze, kind of thing. And so this was May 3rd, 1937. It started its trip over, and so still using hydrogen, so people the crew had to confiscate things that could spark, because they're kind of super afraid. Like even the kids were playing with a tank that shot sparks out, because it was like a little wind-up toy. They kind of took that, and so the Hindenburg, it was hours late while trying to get to New York, because in New York City, because you couldn't land at the Empire State Building anymore, the next closest airport, even big enough to land this monstrosity, was Lakehurst, New Jersey. And well, it was super duper late, and they needed, so people wanted to go to England. Well, it was completely booked with people who were going to England for the crowning of King George the sixth or fifth. And so the captain, being he grew impatient, and the weather in New Jersey was too bad to land. And so he took his passengers on a flying to Manhattan to kill time. So when he approached the landing field, he turned the ship in a little bit too sharply. It didn't seem to do any harm, but then all of a sudden, well, he decided to drop some water because it was too heavy. All of a sudden, some passengers were watching the window. All of a sudden, they saw a little spark. And at 7:25 p.m., there was a strange whoosh. And all of a sudden, oh man, go me. Let's go to this new album. So all of a sudden, this happened. We always use that picture. This happened, and the Hindenburg kind of blew up. And it was basically it's blazing torturement. Right now, I'm probably thinking, how in the heck could anyone survive that? Somehow it did. So if you watch original video of the Hindenburg, which I don't want to show because I don't want to get copyrighted, the whole video is less than a minute long, and in that 1 minute you can see, well, the Hindenburg. Now you see it, now you don't, kind of thing. And well, then it crashed. Somehow people got out, and well, one of the famous sayings, well, there was a reporter on the scene because I guess seeing a giant balloon land was kind of a big thing at the time. And he said, the famous other humanity kind of thing. The thing, well, the Hindenburg fell from the sky, and at the end, 33 people were dead, and well, and 64 survived. In the end, this kind of destroyed this destroyed the Zeppelin company, mostly because, well, this time people died. All the other times, people were saved. Everyone's safe before the Zeppelin decided to go kabloomy, kind of thing. But this time, no. So people kind of deemed them unsafe. Well, in the aftermath, the Zeppelin company was forced to close. The people deemed Zeppelins unsafe. Even Hitler's deemed them unsafe. All of them were, well, because of Germany, most of them destroyed the scrap metal, because in 1939, France, Britain declared war on Germany. And they'll use the scrap metal to build the tanks, airplanes, cars, motorcycles, shells, bullets. And, well, and New Jersey had a giant hunk of metal on the runway, in a field. So, that's basically aftermath. As today, no one really knows what happened. A lot of people blame it on the captain because he turned it too sharply. And by the way, the captain, he never survived. He survived, and then I think he died slowly after. I'm trying to remember. It's been too long since I studied this stuff. A lot of people blame it on the captain. People even blamed it on the U.S. because he didn't supply them with helium. And, well, Hitler, of course, blamed it on us. Mostly because, if I remember correctly, he had a personal friend on board. Also, yeah. So that's kind of all we have for this. And Zeppelin's dream was kind of destroyed once and for all. The Zeppelin company is now a thing now, because now they build blimps for Goodyear and stuff. And Zeppelins. Today, the Hindenburg is mostly famous for kind of, blowing up the Led Zeppelin cover, but mostly just for blowing up, really, and being filled with conspiracy. People say it was a bomb. Other people say it was just a complete accident. Some people say it was struck by lightning. No one really knows what really happened for sure. There was multiple investigations, meetings. No one knows what happened. And in the end, well, I guess it's like something that we'll never know. But it's kind of fun to try to come up with theories and stuff. So if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. We have lots of other cool videos out there, like most of our videos. Mostly World War II. We have a video on the Hitler Youth, videos on Lindenberg kidnapping. I do have a other Hindenburg video. Highly recommend you do not watch it. It's bad. So if you have any comments, complaints, questions, answers to those questions, or just any comments, like good job, good vid kind of thing, please put it down in the comments below. I read and respond to everyone that's somewhat respondable. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!